The history of England is long and complex, spanning millennia of human civilization. Here's a brief overview. 1. Prehistoric England. The earliest evidence of human habitation in what is now England dates back to the Paleolithic era, around 800,000 years ago. During the Neolithic period, around 4000 BC, agriculture and settled communities emerged. Stonehenge, a famous prehistoric monument, was constructed during this time. 2. Roman Britain 43 AD, 410 AD. England was invaded and occupied by the Romans in 43 AD, becoming part of the Roman Empire as the province of Britannia. This period saw significant romanization of the region, with the construction of roads, towns, and infrastructure. Roman rule lasted until the early 5th century, when the empire began to collapse, and Roman influence waned. 3. Anglo-Saxon England 5th century - 1066. Following the collapse of Roman rule, England was invaded by Germanic tribes, collectively known as the Anglo-Saxons. They established several kingdoms, including Wessex, Mercia, and Northumbria. This period saw the spread of Christianity and the development of early English culture and language. 4. Viking invasions 8th, 11th centuries. From the late 8th century onwards, England faced repeated invasions by Viking raiders from Scandinavia. These raids eventually led to large-scale settlement by Vikings, particularly in the north and east of England. The Viking influence can still be seen in place names and language. 5. Norman Conquest 1066. In 1066, William the Conqueror, Duke of Normandy, invaded England and defeated King Harold II at the Battle of Hastings. This event marked the beginning of Norman rule in England. The Normans brought significant changes to English society, including the introduction of feudalism and the construction of castles. 6. Medieval England 11th, 15th centuries. The medieval period saw the consolidation of Norman rule and the development of the English monarchy. The Magna Carta, signed in 1215, limited the power of the king and laid the foundations for constitutional government. The Hundred Years' War with France and the Wars of the Roses were significant conflicts of this era. 7. Tudor England 15th, 17th centuries. The Tudor dynasty, which began with Henry VII in 1485, brought stability and prosperity to England. This period saw the English Reformation, during which Henry VIII broke away from the Catholic Church and established the Church of England. Elizabeth I's reign is often considered a golden age for England. 8. Stuart England 17th century. The Stuart period was marked by political and religious upheaval. The English Civil War 1640 to 1651 saw the conflict between the monarchy and Parliament, resulting in the execution of King Charles I and the establishment of the Commonwealth under Oliver Cromwell. 9. Georgian England 18th century. The Georgian era saw the rise of the British Empire and significant social and economic changes, including the Industrial Revolution. England became a global superpower, with London emerging as a major cultural and financial center. 10. Victorian England 19th century. The Victorian era was characterized by Queen Victoria's long reign and the expansion of the British Empire. This period saw further industrialization, urbanization, and social reforms, including the abolition of slavery. The Victorian era, spanning from 1837 to 1901, was a period of significant social, economic, and political change in Britain. Named after Queen Victoria, who reigned during this time, the era saw the rise of industrialization, urbanization, and imperial expansion. However, it's crucial to understand the complex relationship between the Victorian era and slavery. By the start of Victoria's reign, Britain had already abolished the transatlantic slave trade in 1807, followed by the Slavery Abolition Act of 1833, which abolished slavery in most British colonies. However, the legacy of slavery still loomed large, especially in the Caribbean. where plantation economies had been built on the backs of enslaved Africans. During the Victorian era, while slavery itself was outlawed in the British Empire, the economic exploitation of colonial subjects continued through other means, such as indentured labor and harsh working conditions in colonial industries. Plantations in colonies like Jamaica and Barbados transitioned to using indentured laborers, often recruited from India and China, to maintain their economies. Additionally, Britain's economic prosperity during this time was intertwined with the exploitation of resources and labor from its colonies. The British Empire expanded its reach across Africa and Asia, often through coercive and exploitative means, further enriching Britain's coffers while perpetuating systems of oppression. Moreover, while slavery was officially abolished, racism and discrimination persisted in Victorian society. Racial hierarchies were entrenched, with non-white people often facing systemic barriers to education, employment, and social mobility. In summary, while the Victorian era marked the legal end of slavery within the British Empire, the period was characterized by ongoing economic exploitation, imperial expansion, and the persistence of racism and discrimination, which continued to affect the lives of millions around the world. 11. Modern England 20th century present. The modern era of England encompasses the period from the late 19th century to the present day, marked by significant social, political, economic, and cultural transformations. Here are some key highlights. 1. Industrialization and urbanization. The late 19th century saw England at the forefront of the Industrial Revolution, leading to rapid urbanization and the growth of cities like London, Manchester, and Birmingham. This period witnessed advancements in technology, transportation, and manufacturing, which fueled economic growth but also led to social inequalities and labor struggles. 2. Imperialism and colonialism. England's imperial ambitions reached their zenith during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The British Empire expanded across Africa, Asia, and the Pacific, bringing vast territories under British control. While imperialism brought economic benefits to England, it also led to exploitation, conflicts, and the suppression of indigenous peoples in colonized regions. 3. World Wars. England played a central role in both World War I 1914 to 1918 and World War II 1939 to 1945. These conflicts had profound impacts on the nation, leading to significant loss of life, economic disruption, and social upheaval. However, England's resilience and contributions to the Allied victory helped shape the course of history. 4. Welfare state and social reforms. The aftermath of World War II saw the implementation of significant social reforms in England. The Labour government led by Clement Attlee introduced policies such as the National Health Service, NHS, and the welfare state, aiming to provide social security, healthcare, and education for all citizens. 5. Decolonization and post-colonial challenges. The mid-20th century witnessed the decolonization of many British colonies. As countries in Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean gained independence, the end of empire brought new challenges for England, including managing relationships with former colonies, addressing issues of immigration and multiculturalism, and redefining its role on the world stage. 6. Economic shifts and globalization. England experienced economic shifts in the late 20th and early 21st centuries, transitioning from heavy industry to service-based sectors such as finance, technology, and entertainment. Globalization brought increased interconnectedness, but also raised concerns about economic inequality, job insecurity, and cultural homogenization. 7. Brexit. The United Kingdom's decision to leave the European Union. The Brexit referendum in 2016 and subsequent negotiations have divided public opinion, sparked political turmoil, and raised questions about England's future relationship with Europe and the rest of the world. Throughout its modern history, England has undergone profound changes, facing challenges and opportunities that have shaped its society, economy, and identity on the global stage. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share.